You finish your dinner, maybe even an extra little dessert, and then it hits you, that sinking, nagging guilt. Maybe you ate past your fullness, maybe it wasn't the cleanest meal, and now the spiral begins. You start mentally reviewing what you ate, how bad it was, and how you will make up for it tomorrow. Maybe you will skip breakfast, cut carbs, eat more clean, or hit the gym harder. I get it. I've been there. For years, almost every bite came with a side of guilt. I was like, it was like food wasn't just food anymore. It was a test, a battle, a measure of how good or bad I was being. And I believe food guilt was just part of being healthy, but here's the truth. Guilt doesn't lead to better choices. It leads to more chaos. In today's video, we are going to talk about why food guilt shows up so often, especially for us women, how it secretly keeps you stuck in that overeating cycle, and most importantly, how to release the guilt without swinging to the other extreme. So if you're tired of food being your biggest source of stress, you're in the right place. Why this happen? Let's talk about why guilt becomes so tightly linked to food, especially when you care about your health. It often starts with black and white thinking, thinking like this is good, this is bad, I ate clean, I did great, I ate too much, I failed. We are conditioned by diet, social media, the wellness culture, cultural norms to believe that food is a moral decision, that how we eat defines our worth or our discipline, our willpower. And on top of that, let's be real, most of us have never learned to have a neutral relationship with food. Instead, we were taught, clean your plate or you're being wasteful. Dessert is a reward, but you only get it if you earn it. Or carbs make you fat, sugar is toxic, bread is the enemy. And these little messages don't just stay in childhood, they morph into our adult lives as constant overthinking. Should I eat this? Does it fit my macro? Should I eat this? Does it fit my macros? Will I regret it? Or labeling food as clean, as guilty, or cheat meals, feeling like eating a cookie means you have failed. And ironically, the more pressure you put on yourself for eating perfectly, the more chaotic food becomes, because restriction fuels obsession and guilt fuels the binge-restrict cycle. The compassionate pause. Now, with that being discussed, let's get into what actually helps. For this, I want to share with you a simple yet powerful strategy. Pause the guilt, get curious instead. It sounds simple, but it is powerful. So let's walk through on how to do it. Step number 1, catch the guilt. So you ate something that triggered that wave of regret. So instead of spiraling into, I messed up, just pause and say to yourself, I notice I'm feeling guilty. That is interesting. So what is actually going on? Even by catching yourself, even doing this, even this small moment is a win. You're shifting from that autopilot shame into reflection and self-awareness, and already getting out of autopilot mode when it comes to your eating habits is super important. So guilt says, I did something wrong. Whereas compassion says, let's explore what happened with care. We want to treat ourselves with more compassion, like we would treat someone else, and not shame ourselves, because we wouldn't do that to someone else. So we want to, when this happens, when the guilt comes up, pause and reflect. A little add-on tip, create a guilt checking note in your phone. So whenever you feel the guilt after eating and you were able to pause and reflect, jot down on your phone what you ate, how you were feeling, what story you're telling yourself. For example, I was bad, or whatever that negative thought you have about yourself, because this helps make the pattern visible. It makes it less personal, but you can see it on paper or in your notes app, on the phone, and you will be able to really start to see those patterns and, first of all, learn from them and have it easier in the future. But you also really create a little bit distance between that. You make it more obvious that this is just some kind of habit and not you as good, and it doesn't define who you are. Then step number 2, ask a gentle question. Now ask, what did I really need in that moment? Was I actually hungry or just tired, lonely, bored? Did I eat enough earlier today? Or did I restrict earlier today that led to this? What was I needing in that moment? Comfort, rest, satisfaction. And this isn't to overanalyze, it's to connect with yourself, not to punish yourself. And it's actually what then helps you uncover the real reason behind the eating, and it will help you learn from it rather than punish yourself. Let me share an example with you. So you realize you skipped lunch, had a stressful afternoon, and by dinner your body was so desperate, so you ate more than usual. And let me tell you, that is not failure, that's being human. And that's why we want to pause and reflect and see what truly was going on. Then, step number 3, practice a neutral response. So you don't need to make up for the eating, because that just reinforces the guilt loop. Instead, try saying, that happened. It doesn't need to mean anything about me. It is what it is. I'm allowed to nourish myself tomorrow without punishment. This is information, not evidence that I failed. How can I care for myself now in a way that is not punishment? And it's that simple mindset shift, that curiosity over criticism, that can immediately reduce the intensity of guilt and stop that all or nothing spiral, that trigger for the last meal, or better, the last binge before we restrict ourselves again. Let's do a quick visual exercise. Close your eyes and picture yourself 5 years from now, feeling at peace around food. What would that version of you say to yourself right now? What would she say to you right now? Let her guide your tone. It's probably not judgment, but it's probably grace. That future version of yourself who has healed would talk to you compassionately, and she would not talk down on you. And what happens when you do this? What happens when you follow this strategy, those 3 quick steps? What happens when you practice this shift constantly? When you stop guilting yourself into control, something surprising happens. You start to trust yourself more because you're not swinging between extremes. You'll notice patterns without punishing yourself. You catch the spirals before they take over. You'll begin to, and most importantly probably, you will begin to enjoy food again without that mental math, without that mental battle. And ironically, when guilt gets away, overeating reduces too. Because it was never about willpower. It was about shame that was keeping you trapped. And that's why you will also stop trying to start over every Monday. You will stop chasing food rules, and you will finally feel more free. Just think about all those past binges that have left you feeling guilty. Has that guilt ever helped you? Has it kept you from binging again? And I know all of this that I talk about, this strategy, it sounds so simple, but it does work. It's truly about shifting that mindset, or shifting that, that attitude towards the eating, to let go of that guilt. I get it when we're in that emotional eating, binge eating cycle, we feel like we need more control, that the control is the only way we get out of it. But if you're truly honest with yourself, it has never worked in the past. So please just give this a try. Give this strategy a try. It is so powerful, yet so simple. As I always say, usually it's those simple things that are so powerful, but yet we chase those quick fixes, those magic potions, when it all comes back to us and shifting how we react to certain things, and especially let go of the guilt and that pressure to do something perfect. And now, if you're nodding along right now, maybe because you've been stuck in this cycle for years, restricting during the day, overeating at night, then vowing to do better tomorrow or on Monday. If that's you, I made something just for you. It's my free training called Break the Nighttime Eating Cycle in 7 days. Inside, I will walk you through a quick method to overcome that urge to eat, to overcome those cravings, and ultimately get out of that binge-restrict cycle and feel much more peaceful around food. And for this, there's no willpower or strict rules required. It's short, it's actionable, and it's made for women like you who want food freedom and not another diet. This quick 90-second method to help you overcome the cravings is linked down right below this video. So if you ever thought, I'm never going to get out of this, this is your next step. You don't have to do it alone. You don't have to figure it out alone. Give it a go. Access to it is free. As I said, link down below. Here's what I want you to take away today. Food guilt is not a sign that you care about your health. It's a sign that your relationship with food has been shaped by rules, by fear, and pressure. But it can be reshaped slowly, gently, one meal or one thought or one choice at a time. So start by asking, what if I didn't make this a big deal? What if I treated myself with the same compassion I'd offer a friend? You don't need to punish yourself into peace. You just need to pause, reflect, and show up again with care over and over again. And most importantly, you're not failing. You're learning a new way. And I'm so proud of you for being here. So I truly hope that you learned something for today. And if this video did help you, please hit that like and subscribe button because it really helps the channel and it helps me share this message with more people. And that's also why share it with someone who might need to hear this. With that being said, I see you in the next video. And if you don't want to wait too long or want to wait until next week or the week after, sometimes I do post bi-weekly given that I'm a mom to a toddler. So if you don't want to wait, check out the video here all about how to stop thinking about food all day. I'm pretty sure it will help you if you haven't seen it already. So lots of love until the next video.